Welcome to the Short Rod Show. You're talking with Ben.
And Brett.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. We're on episode 13 today.
Yeah, we got a bit of a special episode.
Yeah.
We're not on the ice. The weather's been pretty warm. Yesterday was 50 degrees. But it's kind of a special teetering point today. Yesterday and today is. The 10-day forecast has no temperatures above 30 degrees or 32.
We'll be making ice in central Iowa for a change.
Finally. Well, luckily, with all the snow we got, we didn't have any ice.
Yeah, that would be a little bit different story, but right now it's pretty cold out.
Yeah, I think it was 19 when I woke up, which that surely locked some stuff up overnight, although it was pretty windy. I don't know. I haven't been outside the house other than blowing snow.
Yep, a little snow on top. That won't hurt too much now that we're getting into it, and it's going to get cold, so... Pretty excited to get out and get some more episodes out on the ice coming up this season. But today we want to talk about one of our other favorite things related to ice fishing, which would be eating the fish that you catch.
Yep.
Some of the recipes that we've collected through the years, and especially Brett. He's blowing me out of the water with his
Well, you can only fry fish so many
skills.
times. I mean, fried fish is still probably the number one way I eat fish, but you got to change it up sometimes.
The variety is impressive. You guys will really enjoy it. So
yeah.
But wanted to talk through kind of the season so far here in central Iowa. I know a lot of people have been out on the ice all over the ice belt, and we have not been able to get out nearly as much.
Well,
lately.
I know. I mean, we've had some people chime in that there's been some problems across the country also.
Yeah.
We're not alone.
Yep. Just not as expected, I guess. Normal winters, we can get out a lot more, and it seems like you can go out every night after work
I don't know.
if you want.
You look back at last year, I think we're real similar boat right now.
Yeah, froze right away and then opened up.
And opened up, and then it got sub-zero deep cold, and that's kind of what we're shaping up to be now.
Yeah, that'll be really cool to be able to get out a lot more.
Yeah, actually start targeting some crappies and some cats.
And not being afraid of going through and spudding your way around everything all the time.
Yeah. So now that once things get frozen up, you'll be geared up to do something with all these fish you catch after listening to this episode.
Yeah, and I mean, we're not real, huge. We're pretty good, I would say, catch and release fishermen, but we'll take some fish on occasion.
Yeah,
too.
I'd say I'm probably 20-25%. I'd say once out of every 4 or 5 trips, I'll keep 10 bluegills, 3 or 4 catfish, something like that.
Yep, just something to mix it up during the winter and get some different variety for your food.
I like to keep at least 1 or 2 bags of fish in the freezer, but I prefer it fresh before I freeze it, but it is what it is.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we got a good show planned for you guys. Hopefully you'll get to chime in with us, maybe on Facebook or Instagram with some of your recipes, too. We'd love to hear about them.
Yeah, we're always willing to try something new.
Yep, pretty cool. So that'll be coming up next on
The Short Rod Show. Hey, Ben, so I've got this buddy that's trying to start a small business, but he's having a real tough time with his digital footprint and just trying to figure all that out. Do you know anybody that could help him out?
Well, I think I do. I know a couple cool guys at this company called Evergrow Marketing, and they really specialize in helping landscape and lawn care companies maximize their digital footprint and basically bring customers to them, help them get found on the internet.
Really?
I mean, they'll work with any business. They're really looking to expand, and if you tell them that Ben and Brett sent you from the Short Rod Show, you can get 10% off your first order. Really cool.
If you're interested in the Evergrow Marketing team and what they have to offer, check them out on evergrowmarketing.com and tell them Ben and Brett from the Short Rod Show sent you.
You know, Brett, I was poking around on Facebook the other day, and I could just not find the Short Rod Show. What's the deal?
Oh, you just got to punch us in on Google.
What do you mean? We show up on Google already?
Oh, yeah, the Evergrow team hooked us up.
Holy cow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good deal. I'll try that now.
Yeah, right. You just punch in Short Rod Show, and we'll come up on our website, shortrodshow.com. It'll come up on Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
Awesome. So people can find us all over now.
Yeah, all over the internet.
That's great. We're also on Instagram, too. I've been trying to keep up with that. Posting some cool pictures. When we're out on the ice, you can check us out there, too.
Yeah, sweet updates.
Awesome. Check us out, guys. Welcome back, everybody. We're here on the Short Rod Show. Thanks for listening through the break. And we're going to talk a little bit about some fish recipes, preparing fish, best ways to cook fish, and wanted to start off talking a little bit about cooking fish on the ice. So this is something that we've done, I would say, within the past 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Started getting into it a little bit more. And actually, I put together a kit that stays in my shelter with me.
I was going to say, Ben's the master at it. I'm more of a grab a couple of protein bars and head out the door, where Ben's prepped. He's got supplies, and he's got food.
The king of snacks. Got everything we need.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a small clear plastic tote that, I mean, it's real cheap. I basically sized out the size of my pan that I wanted to use, a frying pan. So I think it's like a 9-inch frying pan, just a cheap one, and figured out the minimum size I could fit.
Yep.
All that, all my supplies in to keep it out on the ice with me. So have a small frying pan. Keep my canola oil in the original bottle. Works out good. Then you never have to really restock it.
Yep.
And then also have the burner setup, which was really cool. I actually found at Walmart, and it runs on a 1-pound propane cylinder, and it all unscrews. So you have a base that's a plastic base that you can set up on the ice. You set your can on top of that, your propane tank, and then you thread on your stove setup.
Yep.
And it's a real, basic camp stove.
And it all folds down. I mean, you're already taking that propane cylinder out with you, and that burner and the base fold down to, I don't know, the thickness of, two slices of Texas toast?
Yep.
Something like that.
It's made for basically backpacking or camping.
Yeah,
so
super light.
It works really well.
Super compact.
You got to make sure you have a lighter with you. You light it up, and away you go. And that thing gets hot.
It rips. I mean, what was that, 2 weeks ago we were out, and we had a can of soup boiling in 5 minutes?
Yep. Easy. It gets hot. And the only thing with that, if it's really windy outside, you want to be inside, blocked from the wind a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially if you're turning down your gas flow, because it's not meant to be windproof or by any means. So it's not a fancy, I know they make camp stoves that are made for backpacking guys out in the wilderness.
Yeah. But then you got to take a special special fuel cell with you. You got to take everything with you.
Yep.
Where I'd prefer on non-windy days, I'd always prefer, if possible, to cook outside the hut. That way your stuff doesn't end up smelling like whatever food you're cooking. If you tip it over, you don't burn everything down.
Yep.
But yeah, there's some days that you just have to.
Yep. And that's worked out really well. So I keep my fish batter in there. Keep a lot of paper towels.
Yep.
A lot of paper towels, a lot of paper plates, plastic
Utensils.
silverware, and also real silverware, because when you're flipping fish over in the pan, we tried that the first time with plastic, you end up with some melted fork tines. Doesn't taste the best. That doesn't hold up in hot oil. So, and then also Ziploc bags. So you want big zip, like the gallon size ones. Throw your fish fillets in, rinse them out before you batter them, and then throw the batter in another bag and toss them around.
And some grocery sacks for trash.
Yeah, we always seem to forget that sometimes.
Well, that's because you're throwing it away.
But
that's because after you use it, every time you throw it away, you forget to restock it.
Yeah, so.
But we usually have an extra grocery bag,
that's
too.
helpful.
The waterproofing for the augers, that grocery sack can sometimes double as the trash.
Yep. You never know. You get caught out there with your drill getting wet. You don't want that. So that's kind of what's in my kit, and it's worked out really well. It's just basic stuff.
Oh, and it's small. I mean, your box is probably, 8.5 by 12?
Yep.
Something like that.
Yep.
Maybe 6 inches tall, 5 inches tall.
The only other thing I used to keep in it was a bamboo cutting board, and I don't know where that went.
Yeah, but I feel like you don't have to have that. I mean, just flipping over that bucket worked out all right.
Yep.
Filleting fish, and
yep.
You want to take your carcasses off the ice. That's what you're supposed to do.
Oh yeah.
That's why the trash is important.
Yep, absolutely.
Clean up after yourself.
Definitely, and most ramps, most lakes have trash cans there. That's really handy.
Yep.
Just haul all your stuff off.
Yep.
Throw it away.
And then let the oil cool in the pan.
Yep.
Pour that in the trash also.
Yep.
Don't send anything down the hole.
Yep. Exactly.
It's tempting. No one will see you. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Awesome. So then moving on from that, talking a little bit about how you prepare your fillets, Brett. What's key when you go to prep them?
To me, obviously, if you're out fishing, ice fishing, it's tough to get your fillets up to room temperature. But the top two things you want to do to get the best kind of crispness to your fish, get that kind of a crust, is room temperature fillets and have them being dry. Mm-hmm. Pat them off dry before you start doing. Even if you're going to put them into a wet batter, whatever you're going to do, you want them to start off dry.
Yeah, I'd say especially putting in a wet batter because that stuff doesn't stick.
It won't stick if it's wet
fish.
Yeah, it won't stick as well. That's if you're having problems with it not sticking, you've done one of those two things. Mm-hmm. You either didn't warm them up, and don't throw them in a microwave. Usually you can get them at least warmed up, just throwing them in some warm water, 20, 30 minutes they're warmed up. Mm-hmm. Not hot water, but room temperature water.
Yep.
Fish defrost pretty quick, and then pat them off dry, let them sit for a minute, pat them off again.
Yep.
You just want to get all that water out of there as much as you can, because then if you leave water in there, all you end up doing is just steaming the fish instead of, I don't know, however cooking method you're doing. You're not
however frying works.
Yeah, you're not doing those things. And the fry, you don't get the crispness that you want.
Yeah, and you don't want your fish, half frozen on the inside and cooked on the outside.
Yep, they'll cook through a little better.
Fish nugget.
It's not that as big of a deal on your thin bluegill or crappie fillets, but as you start getting into thicker fish, larger walleyes, catfish, pike, you definitely want that temperature cooked all the way through.
Yep. And then talk a little bit, how do you like your fish? Is it a dry batter style or the wet batter style? Because everyone seems to be a little different.
When I was younger, we did a lot of the wet batter. We just, had a hard on for beer batter, beer batter this, beer batter everything. And now it's all dry. I prefer dry batter over everything. So if I'm drying off my fillets and then I want to use a dry batter, usually there's still a little, there's enough tackiness left on those fillets that the dry batter will still stick to it. And if you have to, slap a quick little coat of water or damp a paper towel and damp them a little bit or something, but just to get them to stick a little better. But usually I don't have any problem with them sticking.
So when you were younger doing wet batter, what kind were you using?
Beer batter.
So you're whipping that up with some shore lunch or
Bush Light, shore lunch.
That's it. That's your wet batter?
Yeah, that was a wet batter. All right. And it just ended up being a lot of batter on the fish, and then all you ended up eating was the batter part. And when you're just eating the fried fish, you're not doing anything else to it. When you're just frying it, putting some Lowry's on it, or dipping it in ranch, or whatever you like to do, that's just too much batter. That's why I went and preferred the dry batter when I'm just eating fried fish, if I'm not preparing it any other way.
Yeah, and for me, like, if you want that kind of style of fish, go to Long John Silver's. They're good for that.
Yeah, that's a hush puppy.
I mean, that's a lot of batter on there. Yep. And that's the kind of style where it almost just masks the fish underneath.
Yep.
Some people like that, but really for the fish that we catch.
And if it's a bigger piece, sometimes you want that crunch. Some folks like that crunch. I'm not all that. I don't have to have that when I'm just eating fried fish. But what's kind of your experience?
So mine's always been the dry side.
Yep.
So it's never done really wet batter much. It's always just been shore lunch and chuck wagon. And you can get them at Hy-Vee's. Oh, yeah. I know they have both.
And you're talking original shore lunch.
And I've always done original until I hooked up with you and got set on the Cajun style.
Yeah. A little bit of spice on fish is where it's at.
That's good. That's good. So what I've done in my grandma's recipe is the half Cajun, or not the half Cajun, the half shore lunch and the half chuck wagon.
Yeah.
And one style is kind of the shore lunch would be your cornmeal kind of based.
Yeah, that's what my next question was going to be. What was that chuck wagon base?
Chuck wagon is straight fish batter style flour.
Okay.
But when you do it dry, it's a really good cross between the two. It's still really light, but
you get the crunch.
You get the crunchy part from the shore lunch style. So another thing with that would be I'm used to putting fish in 7-Up before you throw them in there.
Really?
And little marinate.
So does that make it a little sweeter? Do you think you get much from that 7-Up, or is it just to clean them out?
Both. I mean, I think like some of the stronger kind of fish, like maybe a catfish, or that's really the only one I don't even notice really anymore. We need to try with some yellow bass.
Yeah, that'd be good for that. We got a half a freezer full of yellow bass. We need to clean out.
Yeah, thawing those out in some 7-Up or something. But either that or milk.
Yeah, I've always done milk all the time, and I've only really done that for catfish, and that goal is to kind of clean them out a little bit. I don't really worry about it if I'm catching them in the winter. It's kind of a river cat. If I caught it in the middle of the summer and want to clean it out a little bit, it's always been the
so
soak them in milk.
That's just a little tip. Maybe you guys haven't heard of that before, but try it out. Experiment with a little bit. I don't know.
I feel like you get a little sweetness out of it.
Can't use Sprite.
I feel like
apparently I don't know why. We just always done 7-Up.
That's because you get the lime part or the lemon part in there.
Exactly. So 7-Up or milk. So that works pretty well. And then as we move on to how we actually prepare them, most of the time, like you said, we're frying them.
Yep.
We're throwing them in a pan or a deep fryer, like a Fry Daddy or something like that.
I prefer frying outside. I don't really like that inside.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I've got an external fryer I hook up to the pan, or I hook up to a propane tank, and I don't care what the temperature is outside. I'm always going to be frying that outside.
That's your tailgate style fryer.
I don't ever fry inside.
Yep.
So what kind of oil are you thinking, Ben?
So the only thing, going back to that, you're using a ton of oil then, right? I mean,
I can use a pan.
Oh, you just throw a pan on there.
Yeah, I use a
just
pan.
using that for a heat source?
Yeah, I just use that as the heat, as a burner.
Makes sense. You're not using the big stock pot.
I use it sometimes if I got a lot of fish to go through, or if I'm going to fry multiple things, if I'm frying fish and fries and, mozzarella sticks or something like that.
Well, that's the best thing to do. Start off testing your oil with a little potato action. Throw on some fish.
Throw the fish in.
Throw some potatoes in afterwards.
Yeah. Usually I'll do the mozzarella sticks first if I'm going to do mozzarella sticks because I feel like that cheese or something soaks up a little bit of the fishy flavor. So I try to get out of that. But the potatoes don't seem to do that.
Yeah, they say that it does. I don't know.
It seems to.
I can really tell.
I've never really noticed the fishy flavor in the potatoes, but I have noticed it in mozzarella sticks if I'm frying that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yep. Everything tastes better with the fishy flavor.
Yeah, but no, I've got some cast iron that I use as a pan.
Okay.
Pan fry or deep fry, whatever.
Cool. But yeah, for oils, I'm doing canola.
Canola
Straight
all the
canola
way.
Oil. Yep.
Cheap sucker, aren't you?
Yep. I mean, it's a little more expensive maybe than vegetable oil, but
yeah, to me, there's not a lot of difference between the vegetable oil and the canola oil. I mean, vegetable oil is primarily soybean oil. Canola oil is obviously canola. Then there's also, you get fry oil, which are blends of one of those previous two, and then also peanut oil.
Yes.
And then the Mac Daddy is peanut oil.
Yeah, and that's expensive.
Oh, yeah.
As all can be.
Last time, was it 2 years ago, I fried a turkey, and I bought peanut oil. And that 5-gallon of peanut oil cost more than the whole damn Thanksgiving dinner did.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep. When I think of peanut oil, I think of what Chick-fil-A fries their chicken in.
Yeah, you should.
Because
Chick-fil-A's bomb.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I think it does make a little bit of a difference, but really, I don't know.
No, I mean, fried's fried, but
can't tell too much.
It's different smoke points, and you can get peanut oil a little hotter than you can canola oil, and then you get a little quicker crisp. But then you're really getting into the weeds.
Do you see one kind of oil that you can reuse more? Do you ever do that?
I reuse a lot of it.
You'll filter it out and reuse it again?
Yep, it's more time frame. I mean, if I'm more than happy to reuse oil if I can use it on a weekly basis. Like if I fried one Monday and I can use it again next Tuesday and next Thursday or whatever.
Yep.
But if I start to get a longer time span, like if I fried one day and then I don't do it again for like a month or two, then I'm usually throwing it out and going new.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Throw it in the old waste oil container at O'Reilly's.
Is that what you do? I've never done that.
know.
I usually just throw it in the trash.
Yeah, you probably could. Get with those biodiesel guys and have them running in there.
Yeah, they'll pop it in there.
Filter it out a little bit.
Yeah, clean out some of those chunks.
Yep. Well, they clean her out pretty well.
Yeah.
Little extra fish chunks in there.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I think that's about all the oil stuff I got to say about that.
Yeah, and like I said, canola, veggie, you can't go wrong with any of them.
No, they're all pretty well the same.
Yep, absolutely. What do you season your fish with after it's done? Because this is new to me.
After done. I mean, I don't always do it, but I do like to sprinkle some Lowry seasoning salt on there. It gives it a little bit more, savory flavor with the salt. I like it. I don't always do it, but sometimes I will. It works out pretty good.
I know, like Cavenders too.
Yeah,
That's
same
good
deal.
stuff.
Yeah, Cavenders or Lowry's.
Throw that on all kinds of stuff. I normally don't. I just,
pop it in there and fry it.
I gotta have tartar sauce though.
Well, sometimes you have to have a little variety in your life here, Ben.
I know. I just do things the same old way. I know it's gonna be good.
7-Up, Chuck Wagon,
Shore lunch, mixed up.
That's all you eat.
400.
That's what's grown Ben over the years.
2 minutes aside down the hatch. Yep, pretty much. Yeah, so some salt, Lowry's, just experiment a little bit.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I've always
good to
been
try.
in the kitchen. I've always been more of an experimenter. Mm-hmm. Somehow I don't know if I got it from my mom or where. Oh, definitely didn't. My mom wasn't. I mean, bless her heart, she liked to try, but she wasn't exactly a master chef. But I'll just kind of see some things and I'll be like, oh, that looks good. We'll throw this in there and throw that in there. And sometimes it turns out good.
Sometimes you ruin it. And then
sometimes you ruin it, but
go fish some more. And
I'm one of those people that'll eat about anything. So I mean, even if I ruin it, I'll still probably eat it.
Yep. Dolly, the
wiener dog will eat it.
Yep, she'll eat whatever you don't want.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then let's talk about some recipes here.
Yeah.
So we're talking, everyone can do kind of the basic fillet your fish out, throw it in the pan, fry it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good. You can eat it with
And that's
potatoes.
probably what 60% of the fish are cooked as, and that's perfectly fine.
Fish and chips kind of style.
Yep. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep. Fantastic. And that's really what I'll do 99% of the time anyway.
Yeah.
It's when Brett comes over and gets a little saucy in the kitchen.
If I'm cooking large
together.
batches, it's still just the regular fried deal. But if I'm cooking for just me and my wife or just myself or, 2, 3, 4 people, then we'll get a little fancy.
We've had some massive fish fries up in Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
Where we just go at it.
Yeah.
And have batch
so
after
speaking
batch
of that,
after batch.
I used to do this when I was younger, was cook whole fish.
Mm-hmm.
When we'd go camping, especially catfishing, we'd just cook the whole catfish. We'd cut the head off, gut it, fill that cavity full of goodies, and cook it over the campfire.
What kind of goodies are we talking?
Sometimes some stuffing, cilantro, thyme,
Okay.
lemon, just kind of your simple
Spice it up a little bit.
herbs that you put in there just to kind of give it a little flavor.
Cool.
And then stitch that up with some toothpicks, throw it on the campfire, let it sit or wrap it in tinfoil sometimes too.
Mm-hmm.
Throw some butter in there, let it sit till you think it's done, and pull it off, and
good.
Skin peels right off, and it's easy and delicious. So that's something I want to do more when we head up to Minnesota, especially pike fishing, because they're a bear cat to clean. What I'd rather do is just scale them, gut them, cut the head off, stuff that with some goodies, either throw it on the grill, throw it over campfire, bake it, whatever, and then just peel that skin back and just eat it off the bone is what I'd like to do.
And so you're picking around the bones.
Yeah, but that's easy.
Bit, yeah.
If it's cooked right, picking around bones isn't that big of a deal. It's not like those bones are going to come off, and the meat comes off easy enough.
Yep.
You got it cooked all the way.
With that too, another grandma's tip is to always have bread with your fish.
Oh yeah,
Because that's key.
Especially filleted pike.
Depends on how good the fillet person is on getting all those bones out. But if you have some small bones that get through, maybe you're feeling your fillets out before you throw them in and you miss one.
Yep.
I can get caught sideways down your throat.
Yep.
And dinner roll,
something,
white bread, whatever. That goes a long ways. And I actually had that happen when I was a kid.
Oh, geez. I've never had that.
Wedged sideways in my throat.
I've always caught it before I've always chewed it good enough that I don't have that.
Yeah.
I always catch it before it goes down the hatch.
Well, I thought I did too. And then my grandma was like, oh, just swallow it. It'll be fine. So I do. I did. And then it got caught. And I was like, oh, what the heck?
Damn it, Grandma.
So then I had a dinner roll there. Boom, down the hatch. No problem.
Gone.
Just
Push
took
it
it all
right
down.
down.
Yep. So,
just scarred your esophagus for
genius.
life.
Yep. Never the same. Yep. So that's a good little tip as well. Talking bones in fish.
Yeah.
So.
Or just, do a good job filleting and don't worry about it.
Yep.
But that happens.
So some recipes Brett brought to the table. You guys will be impressed with this. A little spin on some standard stuff, and then definitely some stuff that's a little farther out there for those creative types.
Yeah, and they're not difficult. They're easy. So zing them at me. You got the notes.
So the fish tacos recipe.
Fish tacos. So everybody's doing fish tacos anymore. I mean,
yep,
they're easy. By and large, most people, they're just frying their fish like you normally would, getting some taco ingredients, slapping them together, and eating them. And that's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
But a couple of keys that I like to make sure I do always is I've quit frying them. Is what I've stopped.
Okay.
I don't fry the taco fish. What I do is I'll bake them, and I'll make a little tinfoil boat, put some butter in there, lemon, and then I add a pile of Louisiana. What's that? Louisiana spice. I think it just says Louisiana on the side of the little shaker.
It's generic Cajun kind of.
Yeah, it's pretty spicy stuff, and I like to heat up that fish a little bit with some spice, especially for tacos. So I throw that in a little tinfoil boat, bake that for 15, 20 minutes. Like I said, I just throw things in, and I'm one that opens the oven or turns the light on in the oven and just keeps checking it, and I don't really pay attention to the time. Yep. I just think if it looks good, if it looks done, it's done, and we'll keep running. So I'll do that with the fish, and then I'll do soft shell tacos.
What kind of tacos? Are you talking
Soft
corn
shell.
or
flour, corn, whatever. I think I usually just grab the flour ones.
Corn's way better.
But yeah, I've done the corn ones also. But I guess I've never really I've never really noticed a lot of difference in the cooking. So usually the last thing is I want to cook those tortillas. Warm them up.
Yes.
Get a little bit of crust on them. Put a little butter in a little bit of butter just to get a little bit of crust on one side or both sides.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Warming them up is key. Number 2 key is I always use cabbage because you get a little crunch out of that cabbage. It's not like I particularly want the flavor of the cabbage, but I just want that crunch. And then I also make sure I use cilantro, which I just love cilantro anyways. Squeeze a little lemon on there. And then also key number 2 that I didn't always used to do, but I do now is I make a little red sauce. To me, that brings the whole taco together where I mix
Brett's red sauce.
I mix sour cream and Frank's Red Hot.
Yep.
I mean, it's a sour cream based sauce, so
That sounds awesome.
I've never measured what the ratios are, but it's a sour cream based sauce, and I pour Frank's Red Hot in there until it's the consistency that I want. Which usually, if I can mix it up and I pull it out and it's just dripping off the spoon, that's the consistency I'm looking for.
Yep. It sounds good. What do you put cheese on them too?
Yeah. Then it's just normal, whatever your normal favorite taco stuff is. Cheese, lettuce,
quesadilla cheese, whatever that is. Man, that's
whatever
good stuff on tacos.
After that, it's whatever. Combine it all. Smear a little bit. You can either drizzle your red sauce on there if you want to go for presentation. Otherwise, I smear it onto one side of the taco shell and then fold it over, and it kind of works as a glue to hold the taco shell together.
Yep.
Then chow down. Or also, I like to put pico on it. But then I won't mess with the cilantro.
Yep.
I'll just put pico on it.
Making me
maybe
hungry.
some corn. I'll grill some. Grill a little bit of corn. Or what I've done, if it's like dead of winter, is I've taken a can of corn, drained it, taken a little bit of it, put it in a pan, slosh it around just so you get a little bit of burnt on it. Mm-hmm. Just so you get that little grilled look. Sprinkle it on there.
Nice.
Bomb.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Brett's famous fish tacos. You have to try them.
That's the way to do it, man.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I like that idea of not frying them too and just
a little
bit different.
Yeah.
You
I
get
mean,
more
like
of
I
the fish
said,
flavor too.
fried fish is still excellent, but you got to change it up sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. The next one we have on our list would be Brett's famous stir fry.
Oh, yeah, the stir fry.
Fish stir fry.
That's probably the simplest of the recipes that we'll talk about. Basically, I just buy the stir fry pack at Hy-Vee, the frozen deal where it's got your little baby corns, your water chestnuts, peppers, whatever. Either it's a steamer thing I throw in the microwave, steams it, or if I'm out fishing or something, I want to do it, or wherever, you just cook those. Usually I want to make sure I cook the vegetable, or I cook the fish first if I'm using the same pan. Cook the fish first. Again, not fried, usually. Just want to get a cook on that fish. Put some... You'll notice a trend that I like to heat up that fish with some spice. I'm not into just bland. Yep. I like some heat on the fish. So I'll either put some sort of Cajun spice on there, or I'll put some chili powder or cayenne or something to heat that fish up a little bit. Cook that in the pan. Pull that off. Set it off to the side. Throw my veggies in there. Get those all cooked up. And then I'll add sweet and sour sauce into the pan. Again, I don't know what the measurements that I use. I just use to the consistency that I want. And then once that's all cooked, then I'll add the fish back into it. Get that all back up to temp. And you're rocking and rolling. It's something about that sweet and spicy in that fish with that, with the sweet and sour sauce, and then the spicy fish. It's bomb.
Oh, yeah. That sounds great.
And that's the simplest recipe ever, is you just grab one of those frozen packs, throw them in there.
Yep.
Good to go.
And that sounds like something, too, that you could make a little bit ahead of time if you're mixing some stuff.
Yep.
And throw your frozen fish chunks in there.
And you're not always cooking with oil.
Yep.
That's the deal. I'm not real health conscious nut, but, I do like to make sure I got some vegetables on the side and what I'm eating. And, get some of that oil out of just cooking fish all the time like that.
Awesome. And then finally, the other recipe would be a fish sandwich. The classic fish sandwich.
Yes. I haven't done it in a while.
So we need to do that.
Because you want so for all these recipes, the type of fish you want. For the tacos, you can get by with your panfish a little easier, where you got your bluegills, your crappies. That's not as big of a deal, but when you get into stir fry stuff, those bluegills and crappies will tend to kind of fall apart on you. Mm-hmm. So you want a little bit more of a substantial fish, a little bit bigger walleye, catfish, pike, whatever. That meat's big enough that chunk will kind of hold together. So I guess I didn't say how I was chopping these up and stuff. So for the tacos, I might cut them in half.
Yep.
Pretty larger chunks. For the stir fry, I want kind of a uniform cube, something like that. And then for the fish sandwich, I want that whole fillet. Well, if it's a bigger fish, not necessarily the whole fillet, but sandwich size fillet where I've got, I don't know, maybe an inch thick fillet, maybe 4x4, something like that. And then what you want to do is you want to double bread that sucker. So this is when you get back into the wet batter.
This is a wet batter for sure.
And this is what
Classic
you mentioned with
sandwich,
where you're running the buttermilk, you're running your breadcrumbs, you're running flour.
Yep.
Mix that with egg.
Yep.
I don't have the recipe right in front of me here. But mix that all up. Dredge your fish through that, or put your fish through that sucker. Dredge it through some flour.
Yep, the dry batter style. The chuck wagon.
And whatever you want. Yeah, something spicy. Something to add some heat to it, because this particular fish recipe is it's a spicy sucker.
Well, it's like a Nashville style
hot
fish sandwich.
Fish. That's where I came across it.
Oh, yeah.
So you put it maybe a warmer dry batter, then you come back in, run it through that wet batter again, and then you fry that sucker. So this is the one out of all of them that I want a fairly heavy
get a good crust
on there, so you can get a nice crunch. And this is a fish where the fixins really. This is a meal where the fixins really bring it together. So a lot of times I like to make it like a coleslaw, put on it, and you can use whatever coleslaw. Go buy some pre-made or whatever, but I like a little coleslaw on there. And then also there's like if you want to put like a sauce or something on there, I've done it where you cook a little honey and a little bit of some sort of spicy Tabasco sauce, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Put some barbecue sauce on there or whatever.
Yep.
But you want to kind of cook that. You don't want to caramelize those sugars, but you want to warm it up so it's kind of runny.
Yep.
And then you coat your fried fish with that.
How about wings and things?
Yeah, wings and things, whatever you want.
Perfect.
I've done the buffalo style before, but I still like to warm that up. I still like to warm up the sauce before I put it on.
Well, I like wings and things because it's not super intense. It's got a good flavor to it, but it's definitely more on the mild end.
Well, yeah, but that warming it up really brings that flavor back.
Yeah.
Really lights that flavor back up.
Yep.
And then, coat that. Put some pickle on there. I like to use, you could use regular hamburger buns, but bruschetta buns or
the brioche buns.
Brioche buns, that's what I meant.
Yes.
Brioche buns.
Yeah, I don't know what they put in those.
Toast those on either end, or King's Hawaiian buns are also excellent with it.
Oh yeah.
Then you get by if you have some smaller fillets, run those King's Hawaiian. That'll change your life.
That's a kicked up kind of fish sandwich. Definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's not
your basic white bread kind of thing.
Do that. You can throw some mayo on there.
What are your thoughts on cheese on a fish sandwich?
No.
No.
No. That's a negative on the cheese.
Yeah. Yep.
You like cheese on it?
I like cheese. Definitely.
So you just eat your fish sandwich.
I'd put cheese on anything.
So you're eating a fish sandwich from McDonald's sort of deal.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Ugh. Barf.
Absolutely. Might go get some of those after this. You never know.
Well, maybe if you ever get some of those yellow bass thawed out, maybe we'll get fancy with it.
Well, we can throw some cheese on those. That'll be a good.
I'm not.
A good example.
That'll be your contribution to the cooking.
A little Colby Jack or pepper jack on there.
Straight cheddar.
Yep. Sharp cheddar.
Sharp cheddar.
Extra sharp.
Ugh. Gross.
Stuff that sticks to the roof of your mouth.
Ugh, thick.
Yep. Oh yeah. Man, that's good. Sounds good. Talk a little bit too about some sides that you like to enjoy with your fish.
Yeah.
What do you typically make? I know, like the classic French fries.
Yeah.
Tater tots or something too.
Yeah. I've always been
often overlooked. Those.
Sometimes that's more of a traditional thing. I like a potato a lot of times. It kind of acts as your same deal with your bread, where it kind of cleans it up. But it also depends on what dish I'm making. If I'm just eating regular fried fish, I've got the fryer hot. I'm going to throw some potatoes. I'm going to throw some things in there to fry.
Yep.
So that's going to be a brown food meal.
Yeah. Yep.
That's going to be. That's going to be a brown food
carbs
meal.
And fat.
Yeah. Otherwise, I don't know, corn. Just kind of, I like to add a veggie in there, something to kind of clean it up, kind of clean your palate a little bit. If I'm making tacos, your typical kind of taco side, some rice. I like rice with a lot of things. The stir fry, usually that's just, you're just eating it.
Yep.
That chicken sandwich, or the fish sandwich, which for all intents and purposes,
kind of
it's the same thing as a chicken sandwich. You're just using fish instead of chicken.
Yep.
I don't know. It's been a long time since I've made that, so I don't know exactly what I make with that. Maybe a potato, corn.
Yep. Baked beans too. We've done a lot.
Yeah, baked beans are all right.
If you're out like camping, throw it on the fire, get a can of beans going.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Rocking and rolling.
Sauce them up a little bit. Add your own extra. I like doing that. Getting more of the plain style and adding whatever you want to it.
And what really brought me into making sure that I got some vegetable into the mix is going on fishing trips, and when all you're doing is eating fried food and you're eating bacon and you're eating eggs and everything like that. Your gut is not doing well.
Screaming at you.
You need some other stuff in there.
Brett is the king of the apple.
So yeah,
tell him about the apple trick.
I always pack. I grab a whole bag of apples before I go on any fishing trip, if for any extended period of time, and I'm eating apples. If I'm not eating other food, I'm eating an apple. And that keeps you healthy. Keeps you going. Keeps you having from
apple a day,
sticking your butt over the side of the boat or something. Like
exactly. And Brett's always got apples. If you're on a trip, I know where to find one.
I'm not usually the one that's running for the wet wipes sort of deal.
Good
apples.
deal.
Bring some veggies. That's what really turned me on to that stuff. Is it'd take me a week. Well, also some of the drinking probably, but it'd take you a week after those fishing trips to recover, get back to normal. Where now, if I get a little fiber in my diet, get a few vitamins in me,
you're good to go.
You're rolling. Yeah, you don't slow down. You can just keep running.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. Well, what else can you think of on the cooking side?
On the cooking side, I'd tell you just to do some Googling, man. If you're tired of just frying fish all the time, which is totally fine. There's nothing wrong with frying fish, but get on the old Google and look it up and see what you can find. I find a lot of things off the Meat Eater website. So if you guys haven't been and listened to that before, it's a fellow by the name of Steven Ranella. And he's got a whole crew of people that work for him and stuff now. But
TV show.
He's got a TV show on Netflix called The Meat Eater. And they just crank out. They're all about that relationship between your wildlife and hunting, and then bringing that food back to you, and that relationship of eating it, and that whole cycle there. And I just really resonate with that stuff. And I like that. That whole relationship. Thinking, it's not all about just going out and getting a limit of bluegills and just crushing these fish. It's more thinking about, hey, what's going on here? Why are these bluegills here? What are they eating? Why are they eating this? And then once you catch that bluegill, you bring it back, clean it, and then you want to do something with it. That's kind of just what's always resonated with me. And then I run. Their recipes are freaking.
You got a ton of his stuff,
unbelievable.
Too,
yeah, I'm all over that.
Hooked up on their site and everything.
I'm all over the Meat Eater, and that's really what I kind of try to do on our podcast. So they have a podcast, Meat Eater podcast.
Shout out to them. They're doing well.
If they ever gave us a shout out, that'd be unbelievable. Because they're running hundreds of thousands of folks through that thing. But just how they articulate what they're talking about and what they're doing that's how I would love to get to this point. But it's not easy to do that. Yeah,
and we're just starting out too. We're doing really well as far as podcasts go. I think for our first.
Yeah.
Couple months into it. And that's really a credit to all of you guys. All the feedback we've been getting online and just everyone being fans of the show and giving us shout outs all over on Facebook. And
it's been awesome.
That's been pretty cool to see. So it's a cool feeling having other people kind of toot your horn for you.
Yeah. It is awesome. Ben's texting me in the middle of the afternoon. Did you see what this guy did? Did you see this guy commented?
So we read all the comments. We're not discounting anybody by any means.
No,
we're going through everything.
Yeah. So hopefully this will be our last kind of in between podcast where next episode will be in it.
Yep.
Really able to actually start fishing, because prior to that we were just kind of hitting spots that we could get on and that were safe, and the bites just weren't really great because you kind of were limited on what we could do.
We'll have some tournaments coming up too.
We're hopefully hopefully by next week we'll be on ice that we want to be on, and actually getting on bites that we want to get after. And
another thing we want to do this winter too is just have some kind of short rod show meetup. So that's going to be something in the works. Probably out on Big Creek. We'll pick a time and see if people can come out and just visit with us.
Yeah, have
a little get together. Maybe we'll throw some fish on the fryer.
Yeah, and if nobody shows up, at least we'll have a good day of fishing.
Yeah, we'll still have fun. So give us your feedback on what you guys want to hear for topics. If there's something on your mind that you want to talk about, let us know. We're always up for trying different things and learning as we go. So it's been pretty cool so far, and we got a lot more coming up on
the Short Rod Show. Bow, bow, down.